Hello, and thank you for joining me. Today, I am going to yet again attempt to suspend an object in a sphere. And if you watch my video, Resin Mistakes, Failures or Valuable Lessons, you know about the trials that I went through attempting this before. That being said, I'm ready to try again. What I plan on trying to do with this project is I want to put this Christmas tree and this cat that's sitting on a present kind of like that and make a snow globe, if you will. Now, my concerns with the tree is, if you notice, I have soaked it in resin. I put some red glitter on it first and then soaked it in resin. So even though I rubbed my fingers across this, no glitter's coming off. So hopefully no glitter will come off inside of the globe. I'm also kind of concerned about bubbling, even though it has been soaked in resin. And of course, I want to make sure that it's vertical and not cattywampus in there. So the first thing I want to do is I want to attach some invisible thread to the bottom of the tree. And it is hard to see this thread. And in order to attach it, I'm going to use some UV resin and then the UV flashlight. So let me go ahead and get that resin open so I'll have it ready. And hopefully I can see this string. This string is real difficult to see. And I actually want to try to center it. And it is hard to see. It truly is invisible. I want to try to center it on there, if I can find it, because I don't want my tree to be crooked. So let me see if I can get that placed on there the way I need it. Stick some resin on there and hold that light up there. And I will probably coat it yet again with some resin because I just want to make sure that it's on there really good. I just want that to cure. And that may take a minute, but I think this whole project's going to take a cool minute because I'm definitely going to take my time because I would love to get it right the first time. I don't want to have to try this again, at least not on this. I mean, for whatever reason, I'm fascinated with the spheres. I've seen some amazing artwork using spheres. Now, I'm not at that level yet, but the best way to get there is practice. So let me see just if I even have that thread down in there. Nope, I sure didn't. So let me try that again. I need to hold that thread hard, and it's so hard to see. Let me try this again. I want two sides to the thread. Maybe if I cut it off, then I may not be able to find it at all. Because I do want two sides because I don't want it to be crooked. All right, I am holding that thread in there tight, but I want to make sure it's centered. I need that centered. Goodness. This thread is a challenge. And I guess I could use a different color because ideally you won't be able to see this anyway, the bottom of the tree. Okay, I've got that down there. Let me try this again. See if I can't get that good and sealed on there because I don't want it to fall off. And on my first pour, I just want to get it kind of to just a little over the tip of the tree, and then I'm going to let it cure. That way I can cut the strings, it'll be attached, and I can start working on the other item that I want to suspend. All right, let's see if that did it. It does appear to be cured. So it's down there, but I'm still going to do one more layer. Only because I do not want that string to come loose. Because if it falls down into that resin, I'll have to empty the whole thing out and start over again. And I'd like to avoid that. And I probably should have timed this, but I didn't. So I'll just check it to see if it's cured here in just a few more seconds. I just want that good and cured on there. Nope, it's still wet, so I better turn that light back on. I don't want to take any chances of it falling. And I did learn using when I tried to put the skull in the resin, I do not want the tip of the tree or the top of the tree to be very close to the bottom of the mold, because then it looks like it cuts the item off. I don't want to do that. And I do assume that this project will take a while. So at the end of the video, I'll let you know exactly how long, not necessarily in hours, but days. And hopefully it won't be more than a couple. I hope not. But I do want to take my time on this. All right, let's check it again. All right, it does appear to be cured. Now let me see if I can get that string. No. All right, it fell off again. So I went ahead and attached it off camera because it would take forever. And I don't think I want to waste your time with you watching me fiddle fart with this string. So anyhow, I have the string on there. Now, ideally it'll be straight. I'm going to use a popsicle stick and wrap it around and take a small piece of tape. This is just painter's tape to attach that string to the popsicle stick. And I want to make sure that we're straight. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in here. And even though I have a line drawn right here to where I think I want the top of the tree, I'll know better once I get it in there and probably shine a flashlight. And that tree, I just want to make sure that we're not crooked. It looks like it might be a little bit. Don't want a crooked tree, and I want to make sure that it's swinging back and forth because that means it's not touching the bottom. So let me set that there and see if I can get it to stop swinging. Oops. Are we swinging? See, now it's touching the bottom. I don't want it touching the bottom. Let me see if I can stop it from swinging. Mostly anyway. And I'm going to shine a flashlight in there just to see where the top of my tree is at because it's real hard to tell. Okay, so it does look like it's not touching the bottom. That's a good thing. But it is sort of on the side there. And ideally, I should be able to put this in there as well. So I think that's where I want it. So let me turn the flashlight off, move that out of the way, and put the second popsicle stick up here. And then those, again, I'm going to want to tape those together. I'm going to take it off and tape it, and then I'll try and put it back on there. And hopefully I'll get it where I want it. It's really hard to see down in there when you're trying to put an object in there. I want my popsicle sticks to stay put together. Let me put it back in there and see. Oh, stop swinging. Again with the flashlight, because that looks like it's positioned where I want it. So now what I do, and again, I'm a beginner, I have to do everything that I think is going to work for me. I'm actually going to use a Sharpie, because when I move this and pour the resin in, I want to make sure I put it back where I have it positioned. So kind of like that, I hope. That's where I want to hang it when I'm ready to put it in there. And I want to make sure that I do pour, it looks like just to this line, possibly a little above, so that that tree, the top of the tree, the resin will cover the top of the tree, and then I'm going to let it, the top of the tree, like about right here, and then I'm going to let it cure. So that I can remove the popsicle sticks and cut the strings and start deciding when I need to put the little cat in. So let me close this up, and I'm going to, I forgot to mention that what I plan on doing when I pour is I do want to add just a little bit of the crystal diamond glitter. Just a little bit. I don't want a blizzard. I just want it to look like a little bit of snow. And some of the aquamarine pigment, because I just want a little bit. I just want it to look like a slightly blue sky. So I'm going to get the resin mixed up, and then I'll bring you back on. Okay, we have the resin mixed up. I am going to pour just a little bit in a couple of cups because I need to do a little experiment, and then we will get this mixed. Grab my stick. Just a little bit. And I'll explain that here in just a little bit. So you set these aside for now, and let me move the tree and hope I mixed up enough resin. I'm going to start by adding a little tiny bit of glitter. I do not want a bunch at all. I'll see what that looks like. See if I think I need to mix more in there or not. I just want a little bit of a snow effect. Let's see. Maybe a teensy tiny bit more. And that should do it. Okay, so there's the glitter, and just a little bit, which is what I'm going for. Now just a little bit of the pigment so we could have somewhat of a blue sky. Always make sure you give your pigment a good shake. And I'm going to start with just one drop. and see what I have, because I just want it slightly blue. And I may want to add one more drop. And it's hard to tell when you have blue gloves on and a blue mat. But that looks, oops, it just barely has just a slight tint of blue, which is kind of what I'm going for. I see some bubbles in there. We don't want bubbles. So let me see if I can safely take a lighter to it without burning the cup. All right, I'm going to let that sit for a little bit, and while that's sitting, I'm going to explain to you why I decided to pour 2 little extras. I need to test some stuff. Originally, I thought I would use, for the snow at the bottom, at the base of the tree and the cat, this is called iridescent bubble glass, and it's beautiful. It is really pretty. I thought, well, that would make some really nice snow. That being said, I did test it. Let me set this aside and I'll show you the results of that test. First, I mixed some white pigment and poured it in a mold, and that doesn't look like snow to me. So I thought, well, let me pour some clear, and I did pour clear, and then it really didn't look like snow, so I added a white background, and from the side it might look kind of cool, but to me it just doesn't look like snow. I still may use it. I don't know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually mix some glitter in real thick in both of these, and pour them, and then into a little mold, and then on one of them I will add, I may add the glitter and white pigment to see if that looks more like snow or just thick glitter. Anyway, I plan to experiment with that just to try to have that plan ready to go when it's time. All right, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead, take a lighter to it one more time just to get rid of any surface bubbles and not burn my cup. And I hope I mixed enough. If not, I'll just mix some more. But I'm going to try and tilt this and pour it in. Or maybe I use the stick because I don't want to introduce additional bubbles. So let me just pour it down the stick and see if that helps. And I want to see how much I have in there. A little bit more. And let me see where my line is at in regards to my, almost to the lines. I'm going to go ahead and, there's just a little bit left in here. I'm going to go ahead and finish it off in here. And hopefully the tip of my tree will actually go up underneath there and not float. Let's go ahead and scrape this last little bit out. And it is just a little bit. And every bit counts, right? Okay. A little more. And another reason I'm not pouring a bunch, I don't know if I mentioned the reason I have this line is the epoxy resin that I'm using is a 1-to-1 and it's not recommended to go over 1.5 inches. So let's see now if my tree will actually go into the resin or if I need to mix some more. And I'm just going to match the little lines on there. It appears that the tip of my tree is going in there. Let me dip it a time or two more, but just barely. Let me get my flashlight. Let me kind of make sure I have it on my lines that I drew. And the tip of the tree is going in. It just doesn't seem like it's going in deep enough. So I may go ahead and pour just a little, mix and pour just a little bit more resin in there. We'll see. Right now, I think I'm just going to leave well enough alone. Let me try and set it to the side. Make sure my sticks are all lined up. Turn the flashlight off. Get it out of your eyes. But yeah, it does appear that it is slightly under that resin. It's so hard to tell when you're working with these molds. Again with the light, because you can't even see exactly where that tree is at in there, but it does appear to be under the resin, the tip of it. All right, so we're going to leave that alone. And for this, I am going to use a little cat and dog paw molds that I just really love. And I'm going to stick a little bit of, well, probably a lot of glitter because I want the snow effect. So let me put some glitter in there. Put some glitter in there. See if I think that's enough or if I need to add more. That is quite a bit of glitter. And with this one, I'm actually going to add some white pigment just to see. I want it to look like snow. I'm going to add a couple drops. I think that kind of looks like snow. Let me add a couple more drops and then I'm going to pour it in the molds, let them cure, and see what I think. But yeah, I think that kind of does look like snow, but we'll see how it cures. Go ahead and put this over here and carefully pour it in. Don't want it to overflow. And hopefully I have enough. Because these are just, I love these molds. Okay, look at that last little bit off that stick. And then let's go ahead and pour the other one. And then we're going to wait until things cure up enough that I can do another pour, and then I will be back. But depending on how long I wait, we may be able to see what the results are on these as well. So I will see you when it's time to do another pour. Okay, so it's just been a little bit less than 24 hours. And if you notice, I did go ahead and mix a little bit more resin and put it in there just to make sure that that top of the tree was covered enough that hopefully it won't fall over. So before we go on to that, I'm going to go ahead and unmold these just to kind of see if we have a snowy effect. Oh, that does look pretty. That's just with the clear resin. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's very pretty. And this is the one that I did. Oh, that's pretty too. And that's with the white pigment. I haven't made up my mind yet, but I think I may actually do the one with the white pigment. I'm not sure yet, but those really did turn out pretty. So let me set that aside. I also went ahead and put the cat figurine on the string just because it's quite the challenge for me. But what I hope to achieve when I put the cat in there, and I don't know if I'll be able to do it this pour or not, is if you notice on this tree, there's a little wooden base. This isn't the same tree, but other than the color, I believe it's the same. And I hope to be able to actually put the cat just slightly above the wooden base, because I want to be able to hide the base of the tree with the snow effect, if possible. So let's go ahead, remove the tree and the cat, and we'll go ahead and cut the strings and see if our tree falls over or not. So let me see if I can get these scissors in there and attempt to find thread. Because, oh, there we go. So there's that. And I don't know how well you can see down in there, but it does appear that the tree is staying in place. So now what I want to do is first thing I want to do is clean off the Sharpie marks on top, so that I can make new marks. All right. And let me just go ahead and see about putting that cat down there. I'm going to twist the string a little bit. I'm just trying to figure out if I can pour now or if I need to wait. Because a part of it too is I really want my cat figurine to, at least the top of it, to be down, to have some resin on it to cure it into place as well. I believe I believe like right there, which is an odd, I might have to actually work on finagling these sticks a little bit. But I believe about right there. So let me put some tape on these sticks and then see what else, if anything, I need to do, because I don't think they're going to stand up sideways like that. So let me go ahead and get that on. Get it back in there. Kind of position it. And I actually need it positioned like thus and so. I'm wondering if I can somehow tape those together so that I can have it positioned the way I need it. We'll find out. This may or may not work. So I'm going to just try to place some tape. I need that way. So let me grab some more tape. And this may not work. I may have to do it some other way. But for right now, I'm going to try this. Oh, that tape is sticky. And I don't think I can actually tape it to the spear simply because tape won't stick to that. Get another piece of big tape for the other side. And even though this looks awkward, I'm hoping it'll work. So let's just see. Let's go ahead and put it back in there. And of course, it's going to be even more difficult to see. No. And yeah, I may actually have to tape something on this side as well, because I need for it to stay put. And that's going to make it real hard to see. Let me grab a bigger stick and see if that'll work. Well, kind of want it like that. But yeah, that makes it impossible to see. So I'm wondering if I can't just put something on here for weight, because it's going to want to flop over. And just like that is great. If it'll stay. I may actually want to find something to kind of put some weight on this. And I'll work on that. Now I still need to mix some resin. And the reason I don't mix it beforehand is I don't know how long something like this is going to take me, and I definitely don't want it to cure before I use it. And another one of my concerns with the resin is because I did add glitter and some blue, I'm hoping to get the same color all the way through, because if I make it too light or too dark, then it's going to be obvious that it was more than one pour. So anyway, I'm going to get the resin mixed up, and I'm going to find something to kind of put on here or weigh this down, see if I can't figure out what I need to do for this, and then I'll be back. Okay, I have the resin mixed up. I did add another popsicle stick and tape that all together and found a little rock that'll help balance that to where I need it. So let me use my Sharpie to kind of mark. That way I can get it hopefully into the correct position. Hold that still. Okay. We will see how this works. Let me just pour some of this in here, and then I will add some blue. I don't want a whole bunch in there. I just want enough. to encase the cat. Yeah, a little bit more. And hopefully that'll be enough. The cat is above the current cured resin. If not, I have more I can use. So let me add again just a little bit of glitter. And I think that that'll be enough. I mean, it's just really hard to see on camera. Let me put the lid on that, add some blue pigment, again, one drop at a time. Oh, excuse me. And hopefully get the same exact shade of blue as I did before. So I think that's still just a little too light. Yeah, and I guess I could kind of look at it like this because I am working with the same type of material. It needs to be a little darker. Let me add one more drop. Let me look. A little tiny. Wonder if I could do like a half a drop. And if I think it's too dark, I'll just add some more clear resin. I think that's about, it's close. It's close. So I'm going to kind of let this set aside and release some of the bubbles that I just introduced. And then we'll do this pour. And I'm going to grab my handy dandy flashlight just because. Let me get that out. Let me pull that out. Yeah, I really want to make sure I get this correct. Let's look in here. All right, I'm going to get brave and carefully use a lighter to get those bubbles off the surface, because I do not want my sphere full of bubbles. All right, that looks pretty good. So again, I'm going to use the stick and pour it down the stick in hopes to not introduce any new bubbles. And let me see how much I've got in there. Yeah, let me pour some more. I think I'm going to go ahead and use this that I have mixed. Then I'm going to try to put the cat in there and see the cat figurine, just to see if at least like the tip of the ears and the tail, maybe part of this is under the resin so that it'll cure into place. My lines there. Let me, whoa, put my rock in. rock on there. And grab my flashlight. And it's just so hard to see in these molds. I am trying to determine if I need to mix a little bit more resin. And my blues are a little off too, I can tell that. Let me do this. If I pull this cat out and there's resin on it, I will know that yes, it is where I need for it to be. So let me get it placed back. And it does look like I made that blue a little darker than the other. You can't tell here, but when I shine the light on it, it's slightly different, but it is different. Okay, well, hopefully I have enough resin in there that it'll... I'm thinking about mixing the rest of it. There's just a little bit left in this cup. I think that's what I'm going to do. I want to make sure that that cat is the cat figurine, not a real cat, is deep enough in that resin that when I do cut the strings, it won't topple over. All right, so let's just go ahead and mix this little bit up and add it. I think I would feel better if I do that, and hopefully I won't mess anything up by doing this. Just a tiny bit of blue, and maybe the two will mix and lighten everything up. I don't know. We'll see. So it's just yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to let it, see if we can't get rid of some of these bubbles I just introduced, and then I'm going to go ahead and pour this in there as well, just to make sure that cat is good and anchored down. Okay. Now this is going to be a little bit on the messy side because we do have some resin on the cat. Let me just set it there. Again, pour down the stick. And put it all in there. Okay, let's try this again. Cat in there. Match up my marks. Put the little rock on. And hope everything stays. And grab the flashlight. Yeah, that should be deep enough that that cat should be good and anchored down. So again, I'm going to wait for a good long time. I want to make sure it's good and cured in there maybe not 24 hours, but at least 10 or so. And then it looks like we will do one more pour with the blue and the glitter before we get to the snow pour. So anyway, I will see you when it's ready to mix and pour some more. Okay, so it has been about 18 hours. I was just afraid to cut the strings before. I didn't want my cat to topple over. So let's go ahead and get these strings cut and see what we have. Let me move that. All right. Let me let you look in there, and it does look like the cat is in place and the tree is in place. And ideally what I want to do is pour some more blue to like the close to the bottom of the cat figurine, and then come back in with some white. And I have already mixed that up, the resin. So let's go ahead and pour this down the stick, just to hopefully prevent bubbles. Let me stop there and see what I have. Oh yeah, there's still plenty of room in there. Stop there, see what we've got. Yeah, a little more. Just trying to get it to the base of the tree. And we'll let that level out and see what I have. Because ideally what I want to do is I want to get it to like right here on the tree so that I can then add snow. I may have actually mixed just enough this time. See? Yep, I can add just the rest of this. And then ideally, after about 5 or 6 hours, once this thickens just enough to add the snow, I should be able to do that now that the suspension part's over. Yep, that looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and use that last little bit. All right. So that filled it like right to the base of the tree, or close to the base of the tree where the wood starts on the tree in here. So the next step is to mix the snow and pour that in. I'll see you then. Okay, I did go ahead and pour the white simply because this video is getting really long, but it is time to do the unmolding. Let me move some of the stuff out of the way. I decided I'm going to put a green mat down simply because of the blue in here. I want to be able to hopefully see it better. So let's go ahead and unmold this. Oh, see how hard it's going to be. There we go. We're loosening up now. And I sure hope for good results. Now, all total, it's taken approximately 4 days. That being said, you know, had I used like deep pour resin, it wouldn't have taken so long. But I don't have any, so I'm just using what I have here. And I really hope for a success. Oh my. We're getting there. Okay, let's see what we have. Ready? Oh, well, you can see them in there, but I may have actually used a little too much glitter. I mean, they're in there. The snow is not as obvious as I would like. I mean, unless you look at it that way, but then there's too much glitter. So if I were to do this again, or if and when, I would actually probably bond the cat to the tree, and at least they're straight in there. I would bond the cat to the tree, and barely any glitter, and no blue. I would just do it clear because that is kind of dark. And you look up there, that glitter, you can just really hardly see through it. But on the positive note, they're both straight in there. So overall, successful, but definitely need to do some changes. So let me know what you think. Please leave your comments below. I do want to thank you for joining me for this video and ask you to consider hitting the like, subscribe, and share buttons. That really does help my channel. And I do hope you can join me next time where I'll be making resin jewelry. Thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you then.